This is the Literary License Podcast with your hosts, Vickie Rae, John Wilson, and Keith Chawgo. Discussing book to screen and everything in between. Coming at you from the UK and USA.
They keep it real.
Hello, welcome to Literary License Podcast, and today we'll be discussing Shudder, our March 2019 films that we'd like to watch, or we watched during our moments of Shudder this month. Yeah, let's do that one over because that sounded fun.
I'm not going to say thing.
Hello, welcome to Literary License Podcast. Today we'll be discussing our picks for Shudder for March 2019. So today we have with us Vickie. So say hello, Vickie.
Hello, everybody.
And myself, Keith. So, Vickie, we will no sense discussing what we've been up to because we're filming this, or actually taping this, the same day we did Leaving Neverland. So we basically want to know what we've been up to. Just listen to our Leaving Neverland. You'll know exactly what we've been up to, which is pretty much nada.
Yep.
So, getting into the meat and bones of our episode. So, Vickie, what is your first choice of Shudder for the month of March?
Well, I went with an older 2001 film called The Others with Nicole Kidman.
Oh, yes.
I believe it was written and directed and scored by Alejandro, I cannot say his name, Amenabar, and it was Nicole Kidman and Finola Flanagan, I believe is how you say.
Yeah,
the film won 8 Goya Awards for Best Film and Best Director. It was the first English language film ever to receive a Best Film Award at the Goyas, and that would be Spain's National Film Awards. And it did not have a single word of Spanish spoken in it, but they liked it anyway. It was also nominated for 6 Saturn Awards, including Best Director and Best Writing, and Best Performance by a Younger Actor for Alkina Man, and won 3 Best in the Horror Films, Best Actress for Kidman, and Best Supporting Actress for Flanagan. And she was also nominated for a Golden Globe Award, that would be Nicole Kidman, Best Actress in a Drama. It got a lot of awards for a horror film. It was set in 1945, and really it just fucked me up at the end. I won't tell everybody what was going on, but it was one of those endings you do not expect. And she occupies a remote country home in the Channel Islands and awakens to find from a harsh nightmare in the immediate aftermath of World War II. She lives with her 2 young children, Anne and Nicholas, and have an uncommon disease characterized by photosensitivity. She hires 3 new servants, an aging Miss Bertha Mills, an elderly gardener called Edmund Tuttle, and a mute girl named Lydia. And she explains why she had previously worked in the home many years ago. Without giving much away, I don't know if it's like a Victorian Gothic kind of situation, but the cinematography is excellent in it. And like I said, it's got a lot of twists and turns. It's got a lot of jump at you scares kind of thing. And the one, every time I watch this, I always think of Scream. Oh, crap. Not to bash Michael Jackson, but you know that part in Scream where they're doing the others?
Oh, yeah.
They got Michael Jackson underneath the shroud thing.
Oh, it'd be a scary movie.
It's a scary movie, and he shows up. I don't know why. I just thought of that, but probably because we just did Neverland. But it's an excellent film. It really is, and it's worth a watch.
Yeah, I like the others a lot. It also reminds me of like an updated version of The Innocents when we remember when we did The Innocents. Kind of has
Kinda,
that
sort of.
Sometimes the world of the dead gets mixed up with the world of the living.
As you can see, the housework has been rather neglected since the servants disappeared almost a week ago.
Do you mean they just vanished?
Into thin air.
How do you do, children? I'm your new nanny.
Are you going to leave us too?
Why should I leave you?
The others said they wouldn't, but they did, and then it happened. Why have you opened the curtains? It was Victor.
You told your brother that there was someone else in the room.
There was.
That'll do, Anne.
I've seen them too. Sooner or later, she'll see them. Then everything will be different.
What do you want?
They're everywhere. They say this house is theirs. Children! Come here! Run! Can't you hear it? There's someone there.
Where is my daughter?
Are you mad? I am your daughter.
Amazon is here to make your life easier. By just the tap of a button, you can turn the camera on your phone to your own personal shopping list. Introducing Flow. Just tap the camera icon onto the search bar, and you can find whatever it is you're looking for, right on Amazon. Faster than scanning a barcode and typing the name of your item into the search engine. Besides, searching with words is so 2012. Save time and money. Amazon, where shopping meets effortless.
My next film is The Reflecting Skin, which is a 1990 British-Canadian horror film written and directed by Philip Ridley. And it stars Jeremy Cooper and Lindsay Duncan and Viggo Mortensen in his first starring role. Viggo Mortensen, of course, is from Watertown, New York, where we're from. Yay.
Shout out to Vigo. I keep trying to catch him when I'm home, and I keep swinging. One of these days, I'm going to find him, like in the Crystal Restaurant or somewhere downtown. I'm going to catch him. He goes to the comic book place down on Bradley Street, and it's just like I'm gonna find him one of these days. He's going to be there. Gonna get my selfie.
The Reflecting Skin is described by the director as a mythical interpretation of childhood. The film weaves elements of vampirism, surrealism, black comedy, symbolism, and religious zealotry throughout its narrative about the perceptions and fantasies of an impressive young boy in 1950s America. The film places majority of its action outdoors around the dilapidated farms and in the wheat fields of Idaho, shot in idyllic sunlight, which belies the dark secrets of the characters and plot. It's an interesting story. It's it's a slow burn kind of a movie. It's very artfully done. Philip Ridley's films are very artistically done, and Viggo Mortensen is very young in this. It said for 1990, was it? Yeah, 1990, and it's very, very interesting. It's very, very dark, and it does deliver. But it's an art house kind of horror-realistic film,
Right.
But it's one that does kind of haunt you after you finish watching it. It does haunt you because it does have that child innocence about it. Not like the girl next door kind of innocence, but it does have that kind of innocence, and it's very, very good, and it deals with some really difficult subject matter. But Lindsay Duncan's fantastic in it. Viggo Mortensen's very, very good in it. And the little boy, Jeremy Cooper, he's phenomenal. So I suggest the Reflecting Skin.
Vigo does no wrong.
You're a fan. I think Vigo is okay. Every time I see him, I still think of him as that really horrible person in A Perfect Murder with Gwyneth Paltrow, and I think, ooh, slimy.
Oh my God, yeah. You know, a lot of people don't notice it, but what is that movie? I don't know. It's Detroit Rock City, where these kids are trying to get these Kiss tickets, and they're trying so hard to get to this Kiss show in Detroit. And Vigo's like the bandit with their, like, he's robbing a 7-Eleven with a long, like a 410 or whatever the hell he's got. Oh my God, it's just so funny. I love that movie.
I haven't seen that for years. I did like that film a lot.
Every day, Jacob Singer goes to work.
What's wrong?
It's one of those days.
And every day, he wonders what is happening to him.
Maybe it's the pressure, Jake.
They're like demons, Jess. They weren't human.
What were they, Jake? Let me look at your hand. You have very strange lines. See, according to this, you're already dead.
Something's wrong, Jake. They're coming after me. I don't know who they are or what they are, but they're gonna get me, and I'm scared, Jake. I've seen them too. Maybe the demons are real.
He's running 106 feet with...
This is barbaric. I can get rid of the demons. Who are you? I can block the ladder. Where are you taking me? Where am I?
Where do you want to go?
Home.
This is your home. You're dead.
I'm not dead.
What are you then?
I'm alive.
Okay, Bradley, tell the class about your holidays.
Yeah, it was really good. My dad built us a new kitchen. It's got wooden bench tops and some stupid self-closing drawers. There was a dishwasher that was a real and even a breakfast bar. Mum thought Dad was a massive...
Get a kitchen installed without teaching your kids new words. Visit ikea.com.au. We can plan, deliver and install the whole thing for you.
So what's your next choice, Vicki?
Well, at first when I picked this one, I thought I was going to get that hour and 20 minutes back from my life, but I kind of stuck with it. It was called Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich. Oh, my God. And there's more than one, so I got to watch them all now. It's a 2018 horror comedy film written by Greg Zoller and directed by Sonny Laguna and Tommy Wicklund. And it's a 13th entry in a long-running Puppet Master franchise, which I was not aware of. In addition to being the first Fangoria Presents film produced by Fangoria following their acquisition by Cinestate. And in this, it's the Littlest Reich, recently divorced and reeling Edgar Lennon returns to his childhood home to regroup his life when Edgar finds a nefarious-looking puppet in his deceased brother's room. He decides to sell the doll for some quick cash at a small-town convention celebrating the 30th anniversary of the infamous Toulon murders. Girl next door, Ashley, was played by Pellicer, and his comic book shop boss, Markowitz, join Edgar for the doomed road trip. All hell breaks loose when a strange force animates the puppets at the convention, and they are on a bloody killing spree that's motivated by evil as old as time. And I couldn't stop laughing the whole thing. And Michael Pare, he must have been really desperate for a part in a movie at this point.
Well,
but it's funny as hell, and I mean, you know, some people might find it a little offensive because it does, you know, it has some of these puppets are Nazi motivated, and you know they use the one Jewish guy in there to bait out whatever it is controlling the puppets, whatever. But I mean, it was actually pretty good special effects. I mean, they actually did a good job. But these puppets are assholes, and I mean, they mutilate you in the worst form possible, like the girl with the clearly artificial boobs, you know. I was like, oh man, we know what he's going to mutilate on her. And it was just funny because I mean they had corkscrews, they would cut your throat, they just stab. I mean it was just funny.
I haven't seen that Puppet Master film. I've got
to watch the whole thing. The series.
I watched quite a few of them. I think the first one came out like in the 80s. It was like direct.
I never heard of them before.
Oh, I love the Puppet Master movies. They're always kind of badly acted, but they're compelling to watch. And then they did the first one, and the second one kind of goes over there, and then the third one kind of goes back in time to Nazi Germany, and then it kind of, and they do, there must be an audience because they keep making them. I mean, this franchise has been going for 30, almost 40.
Well, this guy in the movie is a comic book writer or artist, illustrator, whatever, and and you could see where it was going after The Littlest Right because they're going to make another one. Because he made a comic book because he fell in love with this girl, and of course her head got blown off. As it does. It's not all warm and fuzzy, folks, but it's really entertaining. So I suggest it. I'm going to watch the other ones when I get a chance.
Well, Michael Pere is an interesting choice because he was supposed to be this up and coming actor. Like, he's going to be like the bee's knees. This is going to be like a huge movie actor. So we got Eddie and the Cruisers, which he was very good in. Then we got Streets of Fire, which kind of bombed.
Right.
But
I like those movies, though. I love them.
Yeah, Streets of Fire is one of my favorites. And then Moon 44 bombed. So kind of all these films they were putting him into kind of bombed. Because Eddie and the Cruisers bombed. It found its life when it hit HBO, and the soundtrack sold after it hit HBO.
Right. Well, that was like the major selling soundtrack when I was in college. I mean, you could hear it, just people jamming to it when you're walking to class.
On the Dark Side.
Yeah.
Song. And then he kind of disappeared. Then he appeared in Saw 6, 7.
Right.
Or maybe Saw.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He appeared in that. And then now it looks like he's coming up, appeared in Puppet Master. So God bless you, Michael Pere.
I still love you.
He's like a Timex, takes a licking but keeps on ticking.
Yeah.
Hello?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I have a bunch of favorite movies. I watch them all on Shudder.com for only $4.99 a month.
That's a scary low price.
But if I had to pick a favorite, it'd probably be Scream.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the only streaming service that lets me watch hundreds of horror movies on demand.
I'll be right back.
Hello? Hello? Hello, are you gonna subscribe? Hello?
Go to Shudder.com to subscribe, if you dare.
Warning. This motion picture is one of the most violent films ever made. There are 21 scenes of puppet violence and sadistic cruelty graphically shown. The content and subject matter may be upsetting for those under 18, those with weak hearts, and those of delicate nature.
This cellar workshop is where André Toulon manufactured puppets. It is unclear how many of these puppets were made, though 60 or so of them are expected to be in Postville by tomorrow for the auction.
That's not mine. I don't really know how that got here.
Maybe it walked.
Hello. Jesus. Well, you definitely seem like a toy that a maniac would make.
What the?
Why would anybody create a Nazi puppet?
They're little, they're fast. Anne Frank was hiding in her attic. Puppet could find her.
Don't ask. Don't ask.
My next one is actually a TV series that's on Shudder. It's called Todd and the Book of Pure Evil.
Oh, my God.
It's a Canadian comedy horror television series that follows a group of high school students who confront the effects of a demonic book. Now, the series originally premiered on Space in September 29, 2010, with 2 back-to-back episodes. And the series was created for television by Craig David Wallace, Charles Pico, and Anthony Leo, and it was based on a short film of the same title. The series runs for 2 seasons, and basically is a total of 26 episodes. Each episode is about 20 to 25 minutes long. It works really fast. It's really funny. The series was canceled, so to finalize and to bring out the ending, they did an animated feature film that premiered in November 3rd, 2017 to close off the series and give everyone an ending. But that was animated. Now, it's got that 2000 vibe to it. You know those 2000 those teenage dramas that you got where the kids are quite sassy and quite knowing, but they're kind of poking the fun at everything. It has that kind of feel to it. It's really funny. The horror's done very, very well. They, for one episode, like episode 3, is that this spell goes on that makes everyone gay. And so they're fighting around. And the lead guy, he's fantastic because he's like this headbanger, and he's like in the rock and roll, and he has like this nerdy, he's got this really pretty girlfriend cheerleader type who's a total, bitch, and then you got like the nerdy girl who knows too much, and then you got like the fat friend. And when they, like the gay episode, the headbanger guy is being chased after by the fat guy, and they're like falling in love with each other, and it's only affecting the guys, it's not affecting the girls, and the girls going, what the hell, and all these guys are getting off with each other. So it's all done from that really tongue-in-cheek, but it's very, very well done. And I guess if you're going to give it a forerunner, I guess if you ever watch Ash versus the Evil Dead TV series, and the kind of humor that's portrayed in that, just feels like a forerunner to that.
Yes.
Because it is, the Necronomicon and, that same kind of book. And it's very, very enjoyable. And I said before, there's only 26 episodes. It runs very, very quickly. Before one episode's done, you're right into the next one. And it's very, very fun. So that's my second choice.
Amazon is here to make your life easier. By just the tap of a button, you can turn the camera on your phone to your own personal shopping list. Introducing Flow. Just tap the camera icon onto the search bar, and you can find whatever it is you're looking for, right on Amazon. Faster than scanning a barcode and typing the name of your item into the search engine. Besides, searching with words is so 2012. Save time and money. Amazon, where shopping meets effortless.
Prepare to have your mind totally blown.
Take a group of pesky teens.
Haven't you guys noticed? Trouble always comes to us.
A dark magic book.
The Book of Pure Evil can give you anything you desire.
Wicked!
Wisdom from a janitor.
You're already reading the magic words, aren't you? Sort of. Can you hand me my blood mop then? I'm gonna need it later.
Plus a guidance counselor counseled by an evil council.
Who's a what's a?
And you've got a new reason to fear high school.
Don't you think this is all strange?
Whoa! We gotta do that again. I wasn't filming.
They're locked and loaded.
I have a plan. Let's go get baked.
They're armed and dangerous.
Do I look like a superhero?
You guys are such idiots.
And they're scared out of their minds.
Dude, we didn't run. We just walked fast.
Todd and the Book of Pure Evil. Fighting evil with mixed results.
Dude, we ran home like a couple of frightened little bitches.
Tuesdays at 10, 7 Pacific. Premieres August 2nd. Only on FearNet.
So what is your third choice?
I went with Jacob's Ladder. It was made in 1990. It's an American psychological horror film directed by Adrian Lyne. And Tim Robbins stars in this, and the film's protagonist, Jacob, is a Vietnam War veteran whose experiences prior to during the war result in strange, fragmentary visions and bizarre hallucinations that continue to haunt him. And the ordeal worsens for him, and he desperately attempts to figure out the truth, what's going on. I think it's like a really cerebral and paranoid kind of movie. I didn't think I was going to like it at first, but after getting into the film, you really want to figure out what's going on, and without ruining anything, you're just going back and forth. Well, did the Army do something to these men? Were they an experiment? Are they actually seeing these things? It's really intense, and it's hard to talk about it without giving it away. Apparently, it only enjoyed moderate success when it was released, and it did garner a cult following. It had, because of its plot, the special effects, and it also influenced movies like Silent Hill.
Okay.
So it's along those lines. Like I said, it's really cerebral. It's paranoid. You don't know what to believe. It's one of those movies till you get to the end. And even then, I didn't know what to believe. I found it a really good movie. It's one of the older movies, but sometimes going with the older movies is kind of better than going with some of the newer ones. It was a really good performance by Robbins. So
I know they're remaking it. There's
I
a remake
enjoyed
coming out at the end of the year of Jacob's Ladder, which is interesting. They're remaking it.
Oh, they are. I hate it when they do that. It's like, stop.
I remember I saw the movie back when it came out when I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, many, many years ago. And I remember seeing it, and it's like I was confused by it. But
it was confusing.
And I didn't really like it. But then I watched it now that I'm an adult and out of, those uni years and those, pre-20s, early 20s age. And I watched it about a couple of years ago, and I sit there and say I actually enjoyed it a lot more now. No, I'm older. I think it's because I'm older. I understand it more. But I also think it has to do with PTS. I don't think I really understood what PTS was.
PTSD?
Yeah.
Well, I think that I think when you look at it with an older pair of eyes, a lot of things I've noticed now that I'm in my 50s, I do notice things that I never noticed before, and I have an appreciation of other things. Mm-hmm. So, when you're younger and you're just flying off the cuff at everything, and you don't really take things in that much until you're older. And, that's why I probably like things like this now as opposed to when I was 23, 24.
Well, I think when you get our age, when you become bitter and twisted and disillusioned with the world, I think things mean more to you now. You can understand things a lot more.
Cynical, everything sucks.
Yeah, everything sucks. Been there, done that, wore the t-shirt, yeah. I've done everything. There's nothing you're doing that I haven't done already. Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, I Jacob's Ladder is a really good film. I have appreciation for it that I didn't have at this time it's released. So it's good that it's on Shudder, so you can actually re-examine films like this.
Right.
Every day, Jacob Singer goes to work.
What's wrong? It's one of those days.
And every day, he wonders what is happening to him.
Maybe it's the pressure, Jake.
They're like demons, Jess. They weren't human.
What were they, Jake? Let me look at your hand. You have a very strange line. See, according to this, you're already dead.
Something's wrong, Jake. They're coming after me. I don't know who they are or what they are, but they're gonna get me, and I'm scared, Jake. I've seen them too.
Maybe the demons are real.
He's running 106 feet with...
This is barbaric.
I can get rid of the demons.
Who are you?
I can block the ladder.
Where are you taking me? Where am I?
Where do you want to go?
Home.
This is your home. You're dead.
I'm not dead.
What are you then?
I'm alive.
Morning face. You get it when you don't sleep well. This is what happened to Linda.
Morning, guys.
Good morning. Ah, what is that thing?
It's me, Linda.
Oh my God, it talks! Run!
No, it's me, Linda from HR.
It looks hungry! Save the children! Save them! Stay back, I've got mace!
Ow, that went in my eyes.
Quit moving!
It's called beauty sleep for a reason. And there's never been a better time to get some.
Get 20% off IKEA Sultan mattresses. IKEA, love your home.
My last film that I'm going to recommend is Carnival of Souls.
I was going to watch that. I have not watched it yet.
It's It's interesting. It's a 1962 American independent horror film written, produced, and directed by Herc Harvey and starring Candace Hilligoss. Its plot follows Mary Henry, a young woman whose life is disturbed after a car accident. She relocates to a new city where she finds herself unable to assimilate with the locals and being drawn in the pavilion of an abandoned carnival. Director Harvey also appears in the film as a ghoulish stranger who stalks her throughout. Now, it's quite interesting because it was filmed in Lawrence, Kansas and Salt Lake City, and it was made on a budget of $33,000.
Right.
This is Harvey's only film that he ever made, and he made it doing a lot of guerrilla filmmaking techniques. And it was originally as a double feature with The Devil's Messenger in 1962. Now, it does have an organ score by Gene Moore, which is kind of a jarring score, but it does work in this period. And it's kind of like Night of the Living Dead, where you have a lot of amateur actors, but for some reason it does work. And it works in so many different ways. And the film wasn't really thought about it, but it now has a really big cult following, and it's considered, as wide-ranging influence on films, and David Lynch and George R. Romero is one of their favorite films. Now, they did do a remake of the film with Wes Craven producing it, which didn't do very well, but they were able to find Herc Harvey. Now, there's two versions of the film that are quite interesting. There's the 80-minute original theatrical cut, and there is also an 84-minute director's cut. Carnival of Souls is in black and white, but they have colorized the version of it, which is kind of odd looking. It has that kind of...
It is. Colorization always looks odd.
Yeah.
They did that with Night of the Living Dead, and it just took away from it. I'd rather see the black and white.
Well, the ghouls are green. They made them green, so they look like Martians.
I know. I'll stick with the black and white.
And the entrails are like this, like hot pink entrails. That's kind of weird. But Carnival of Souls is quite interesting, and I think that if you really like kind of like experimental films, that has, and it's kind of one of these films that by the time you get to the end of it, you're kind of set on edge, and it kind of stays with you. It kind of haunts you afterwards. When I first saw it back in the 80s, back in the days of Blockbuster videos, and we used to go rent a bunch of movies, and you rent the VCR at the time, and you come plug it in.
Oh my God, I remember renting VCRs. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. That's how old we are. And they say I'm old, and I'm not here to defend myself.
And I would go with my friend Lisa and Leslie, and we go and rent these films. And I mean, I'd sit there and say that I was about 18, 19 at the time, and they were 15, 16, and their parents thought I was the bee's knees. So I used to take them out to a party, and I get them drunk, and we do.
I don't know how people think you're great.
and
they don't know you.
But we would sit in my house and we would watch horror films like all the time, and Carnival of Souls was like that. I remember one time we did a triple feature. We did all the night films, like Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, and what's the last one? Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead. So we did a trilogy, and it was like in the middle of the night, we're off our faces and we're drunk, and then afterwards, it's like after we finished the last one, it's like we walk outside and it's all foggy in Tulsa, and we're like, "Yay, here we go!" It's like totally freaked out. But Carnival of Souls is like that, and I remember it affected us because we were messed up. So it was quite interesting to revisit this film and see it now from a 50-year-old point of perspective. And I have to say, it's very, very, it sticks up very, very well, and I really, really liked it. Actually, so I think it's almost up there with one of my all-time favorite films, but not quite. It's almost.
Right.
Hey, you want to die, huh? Rev it up.
Action you've never seen races across your screen as you thrill to a new dimension in picture making. Carnival of Souls. This is the shocking story of a who crawled from the river to race through a nightmare, walking a tightrope between heaven and hell. From the unreal, she crashes through to reality. But try as she will to lead a normal life, she is torn from a goal. There's no privacy in a life she's ever watched, tormented. Either it's her neighbor, desirous of her physically, watching her with his leering eye, or it's the evil eye of the man who taunts her, the man who wants her. From the bottom of the river they come, They reach for her. They demand that she dance with them at the Carnival of Souls. She is a girl driven mad by the relentless forces of the beyond. He will not relent as he comes for her again and again. She whirls between the real and the unreal, trying to cling to life.
I like being with you, really I do. I don't want to be alone tonight. I want to be near you.
Honey, you don't want to go in there all by yourself, do you?
But she must watch herself in death. She must dance at the Carnival of Souls held just for her. For they have come for her for the last time, claiming her as one of their own. Carnival of Souls arouses such emotion that the management has been forced to state positively no refunds. Carnival of Souls is the shocker of all time, guaranteed to sweep you into a new dimension of picture making. You can't afford to miss Carnival of Souls.
Now, I would like to sit there and say that Shudder, starting on the next weekend, Billy Bob Briggs will be doing a weekly Shudder where he does late night at the matinee TV series. Now, Joe Bob Briggs is one of these persons who used to own a drive-in and do double features or all-night shock around the clock horror features at the drive-in theater in Texas. And he got quite a cult following in the 80s, and he had a couple shows. I think Showtime he had a series on Showtime.
Right.
And he would show like really obsolete horror films and there's this weird commentary. And he's really down home. He's very, very funny. And Shudder has done two special. They did a Halloween special with him where he did like all night horror films on Shudder. And he did another one at Christmas time. But now they're giving him his own weekly show. So that starts next week, March 29th, I believe. I suggest everyone to watch that because you're going to see some really interesting horror films with his commentary. I think the last thing he did all the Phantasm films, 1 through 8.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So he did those, which is really good. And then his Christmas one was fantastic because he did The Howling and he did Night of the Living Dead and
all the good ones. Phantasm. The only thing that stands out in my mind is that ball going in that guy's forehead.
Yeah. That'd actually make a good double feature with Tommy.
Yeah.
Get the pinball. So for people who do have Shudders, I highly suggest the Joe Bob Briggs because it will be something special, and he is really good, and he does know his stuff. He always has these really funny stories, and he's met all these people who directed these films. He always has some really good anecdotes about that. So
they have a series I wanted to start watching. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's something about what are the witches? Oh gosh, where is it? Oh, Discovery of Witches.
Oh, I've seen that actually. That's a British series. It's good. It's okay. It's very British.
It's very British.
It's got. For me, I really liked it, but it kind of can sometimes it goes a bit slow. British television making sometimes is a bit slower than the American versions of the American TV shows that we're used to. So it runs at its own pace, but the acting and the actors in it are very well done. They do.
And they also have Let's Scare Jessica to Death on. I got to rewatch that one.
Oh, Let's Scare Jessica to Death is a classic.
I know. Love it. I was going to watch it.
It's so weird.
I've been flu-ish off and on for the last 3 weeks. So might as well sit here and veg.
But so I guess that brings us to the close of our Shudder March 2019 picks. Just remember, next week we'll be doing the Room, not the Room, just Room. The Room film. That will be our book to screen, and we'll be.
You're into claustrophobia. This is your book and your movie.
Our month of claustrophobic movies. We'll also be filling that with our 2-for-1, which will include Frozen and Inside, the French horror film that's been banned in quite a few countries, and Lifeboat, the Alfred Hitchcock, will be our third film of the month, and of course we'll be coming back with our Shudder April picks.
I love Lifeboat.
Just remember, you can follow us on our social media, which includes Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram, and we're LL Podcast. And you can also join up with our newsletter, which is at www.llpodcast.com. Sign up with our monthly newsletter, or just check in onto our website and see what's up. As you know, our podcast is available on
Spotify,
iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud,
Google Play,
Google Play, and any other good place that you hear good podcasts. But of course, if you are listening to that, chances are you're listening to us already. So before I like to say good night to Vickie, so say good night, Vickie.
Good night.
And good night for myself, and we'll talk to you next week.